Okay, hello. So this is Cemetery Gates, and this is by Pantera. Now, I've done Walk by Pantera before, and I think that's the only song I've ever heard by Pantera. They're just a band that I never heard or anything like that. I don't know, just slipped on by me. So somebody requested Cemetery Gates, so we're gonna do that. And yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but let's go. It's a 7-minute song, so it's pretty long, I guess. So yeah, let's go.
Red rum, red rum. Is this some conspiracy? Crucified for no sins. Revenge beneath me. Lost within my plans for life. It all seems so unreal. I'm a man caught in half in this world. Left in blind misery. Running torture me without a tear in his eyes. Nothing new for you to see. I didn't ask him why. I will remember the number of souls that swore to me. Now I watch the falling rain. All my mind can see now is yours. Well, I guess you took my youth and gave it all away. Like the birth of a newfound joy, this love would end in rage. And when she died, I couldn't cry. The void within my soul. You left me incomplete, all alone as the memories held. Believe the word. I will unlock my door and pass the cemetery gate. Sometimes when I'm alone, I wonder aloud if you're watching over me, someplace far about. I must reverse my life. I can't live in the past and set my soul free. Belong to me at last. Through all those complex years, I thought I was alone. I'm taking care to look around and make this world my own. And when she died, I stood and cried and spared myself some pain. You left me
All right. Okay, so Cemetery Gates from Pantera. So I'm going to say out the bat, like I said, I've only heard like one song from this band, and I know how legendary they are, and I know the like how like Dimebag Daryl is gone, and now Vinnie Paul is gone as well. So like I know like a lot of the backstory and everything, and I know Phil Anselmo. I've seen a few of his interviews, but anyway, like I said, I've only listened to that one like Walk, and I didn't know Phil's vocal ability. I see this song was released in 1990 and Walk was released in 1992, so I don't know if Phil's voice like I guess in Walk, it's like he's almost talking through the song, so it's like he's not really singing. So like I don't know. Like I said, this is only my second song I've heard by them, and right now I'm just kind of like shocked at Phil Anselmo's voice because I just didn't expect that. Like I wrote down some bands and like singers that came to mind when I heard this. So the whole song, as I said, it came from 1990. So I mean these bands were still around at this time with like I got some Queen, Metallica, and Guns N' Roses like vibes, I guess. And also with Phil, I got like a David Lee Roth almost kind of feeling, with just the wailing screams. And yeah, I just didn't expect him to scream that much. And then also with the wailing guitar almost matching his screams was also very nice. And then of course there's a guitar solo in there. And I was looking at that because there's a on Genius.com. It says for an annotation on that guitar solo. It says it was ranked the 35th greatest guitar solo of all time by Guitar World. It's a speedy masterpiece and was amazingly executed on the first take after a night of excess involving booze and most likely other drugs. The legendary Dimebag Daryl had this to say. He said, I got home with a pretty good buzz on, picked up my axe, turned on the 4 track, cranked it loud as hell with the loose buzz theory that anything and everything goes, and just played it. I played 3 solos back to back, didn't bother listening to them, and crashed out not so happy. The next morning, I woke up thinking I had a lot of work to do. I almost started from scratch, but then I decided to slow down and listen, so I fired up my 4 track, put my ears on, and bam, lo and behold, there it was. The first lead I played that night before was it for sure. Hey man, the second and third weren't bad, but the first had the first take magic. I didn't touch it. So that's pretty cool. The first take was just it, and how he thought it was terrible, and he listens to it the next day, and it's actually pretty good. And yeah, that just shows how good of a guitarist he was. And I've heard so many great things about Dimebag Daryl, and it just sucks how his demise happened there with in 2004 and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, so we're not going to talk about that right now. But I guess I'll just look at the bio here on Genius.com. Like I said, I got those vibes from Queen, Metallica, and Guns N' Roses, and like David Lee Roth of Van Halen. So anyway, going into this, that's all I didn't know what to expect, like I said. So anyway, so Cemetery Gates is one of Pantera's most well-known songs, which is also why I wanted to review it, or I guess react to it, because it is a well-known song. So I just wanted to see if I heard it or what, but I definitely have not. And anyway, it is a melodic metal track that blends both acoustic and electric guitars, while its lyrics contain themes of death, doubt, and depression. It says during its recording, singer Phil Anselmo had trouble with his vocals and was stuck on one note for a long while. He finally got it right once. He took a break from smoking cannabis, and as recommended by producer Terry Date, took a sip of liquor to help heat up his throat. So he said, Anselmo said, that was just my second time in the studio, and I hated it. There's one note that comes up twice in Cemetery Gates that I could not do for hours. I broke a chair. I was so mad. Everybody's begging me, don't smoke any weed. Have your best voice. And I went, you mean I have to do all this sober? So Terry said, well, Chris Cornell from Soundgarden used to drink port wine because it warms his throat. And I thought, good idea, bingo. So I'm sitting there drinking all this sweet wine, trying to catch a little buzz. Still, I don't know if it helped me if hit that note, but I finally did it. So this whole background of the song, I mean, booze was a big part of the song coming to fruition. Like it's great to hear. So yeah, it's very. I haven't heard anything like this before. I don't think it's pretty funny. So it says again, it talks about the solo by guitarist Dimebag Daryl of what I already said. And then it talks about Phil Anselmo again. Yeah, it's the same quotes again. So yeah, that's basically it there. And also it says, okay, so I'll look through. There's only a couple annotations. I mean, there's not too many lyrics on this song. But the first annotation here is from the second verse. So sometimes when I'm alone, I wonder out loud if you're watching over me someplace far abound. So it says, tragically, this song has become a eulogy of sorts in celebration of the life of the band's former guitarist, Dimebag Darrell, who was savagely murdered on stage in a nightclub while performing in 2004. It is now often performed as a memorial for Dimebag by fans, other bands, and even former members of Pantera itself. And it says, I must reverse my life. I can't live in the past. So it says the narrator has been spiraling into despair over his loss. He thinks constantly about his deceased lover and what it was like when she was alive. However, after some time of reliving those old memories over and over again, he realizes that he has to reverse his life and find a way to move on. Again, I don't know if these are like right or not, but I mean, there's no downvotes on these annotations, and they're all seem to be uh, proofread or whatever. So I mean, we're going with it here. So the next annotation is from the chorus. So it says, "Believe the word, I will unlock my door and pass the cemetery gates." So it says this is a metaphor for the process of dealing with the loss of a close friend. And again, this is very kind of eerie with the passing of Dimebag, like it said earlier. So it says, oftentimes when one suffers a loss, grief is suffered. At the end of the song, the death is being accepted as represented by metaphorically passing the cemetery gates. Often, or others have said the song is about crossing over to the other side. Uh, so it talks about Paul, I guess Vinnie Paul, just as Paul. So anyway, it says, we did them both the same day, same 2 days, same club, same everything. And I shot the close up of Phil singing, oh, Cemetery Gates, just his close up on that stage. You can't tell, but I shot that day too. Somebody asked, that was the concept? He said, yeah, that was more conceptual. We did another day or two of shooting in Los Angeles when the band was available several months later. That was a ballad from Pantera. That was a huge song. And then the interviewer asks, what's going on? That storyline with the kid and the priest. Paul says it's basically about dying and about being about transitioning over. I like the imagery of a cemetery and the story of a young kid. So again, Vinnie Paul coming through with that, talking about how it's transitioning over to the next side, and so yeah, it's all about, like I said, the death of a person, a friend, whatever. All has to do with that kind of theme. And yeah, and then there's comments on the page as well. This song includes one of the most powerful riffs ever created, simple but unforgettable. And that's just pretty much how it goes with, I mean, what I've seen from Dimebag Darrell through a lot of comments and a lot of uh, uh, fans, I guess, very passionate fans I've seen online. So yeah, I mean, I have to listen to more of the Apparent Terror here, and this album, Cowboys from Hell. I know that this album's pretty like popular, and especially Cowboys from Hell, the song alone, which I have not heard, so I probably will do that at some point in the future. But anyway, I guess that's it here. Sorry for rambling on and stuttering so much. But yeah, I finally got to do this, and I'm happy I did. So I guess that's it. I don't see anything else to talk about. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing and commenting and all that kind of stuff. Thank you for everything else, and for just sticking around and coming to watch this. That's always nice. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. And try to keep alive, stay alive, all that kind of stuff. Stay hydrated. During these times, it's not very easy. But anyway, let's just end.